Hey everyone, welcome back. My name is Zane. This is Altcoin Disrupt. Today we're having a look at Bitcoin standard hash rate. Now before we get this video started, allow me to declare this video is not financial advice. This video is strictly for entertainment purposes and for educational purposes. Now BTCST is an asset protocol that brings Bitcoin hash rate assets to DeFi, decentralized finance. It serves as a strong foundation for other DeFi trading, lending, and borrowing protocols to build on. Bitcoin Standard Hashrate Token is a bridge between Bitcoin hash rate assets and the decentralized finance world. Each BTCST is collateralized with a 0.1 TH of Bitcoin mining power. Now, by staking BTCSTs, token holders are entitled to Bitcoin rewards and a lot more. So let me just repeat what I just said. By holding this token and staking this token, token holders are entitled to Bitcoin's reward and more. So this gives you benefit of both worlds. You get the benefit of holding the BTCST, the standard hash rate token, which is now worth $33 per token. And by staking this token in reward, you get Bitcoin in reward, and there's more to it. So let's take a look at BTCST in a bit more in-depth way. Now BTCST is to implement the results of STP, and this is big because obviously they want the public to know. This is a public announcement. I thought it's helpful to add this in the video so we can all understand what this means. Now in February earlier this year, the BTCST community concluded the voting on the STP for redenomification with a proposal as an agreement to implement a 1/10 redenomification. After consultation with our commercial partners and mining members, the Standard Hashrate Group is now announcing a plan to upgrade BTCST's smart contracts next week. But obviously, let me just inform you, this blog post was made public on March the 8th, so this is actually old news. Nevertheless, let's continue. Now to effectuate the 1/10 redenomification across the multiple partnered exchanges and wallets, while the smart contracts upgrade itself takes a few minutes only, we expect that it can take up to 4 days for all our commercial partners to fully implement the redenomification. We'll provide our community with prompt updates and assistance both during the process and upon completion of the upgrade. To illustrate the effect of the STP for 1/10 redenomification, an address contains one BTCST before the redenomification. Upon the completion of redenomification, the smart contracts would automatically adjust the balance data, such as the address A will now show a balance of 10 BTCST. But what does all this mean? Now first we have to understand a little bit more about BTCST. Now that is a blockchain industry first Bitcoin leverage hash rate token and the first hash rate token to launch on Binance Launch Pool. BTCST creates an efficient in ways similar to how Grayscale Bitcoin Trust creates institutional liquidity for Bitcoin. BTCST is a BSC-based smart contracts with no private liquidity, zero venture capital, and zero team token reserve. BTCST completely relies on community autonomy and has passed security audits from Armor Labs and Certic. Now in additional news, this was news from July. I still think that this is important to know and understand, so I'm going to report on it. An evolution of Bitcoin with far less carbon emissions. This is a big deal coming into the modern stage. In fact, the main reason why Tesla chose to stop and halt all Bitcoin purchases of Tesla vehicles was because of complaints about carbon emissions. Now, I'm not really going to give my opinion on that because that's just another story. So this STP named Blue Sky proposed B20, an evolution of Bitcoin with far less carbon emission. If passed, B20 will be fairly and 1/1 airdrop to all Bitcoin holders as if it were a straightforward Bitcoin fork. B20 will follow Bitcoin's mining schedule, will be upgraded to the proof of stake mining, while Bitcoin holders claim their 1/1 B20 anytime. Now, the proof of stake mining rights of all unclaimed B20 will be proportionally assigned to BTCST holders, who can then participate in B20 proof of stake mining as if their BTCSTs were B20s. Now, this cryptocurrency is at a crossroad. While blockchain have proven that distributed ledgers could be far more trustworthy, efficient, and versatile than legacy centralized data recoordination models, some opinion leaders have criticized that they have preserved a unreasonable high energy expenditure. Supporters of Bitcoin proof of work consensus algorithm view that the absolute amount of energy consumed by Bitcoin is in fact low compared to the traditional financial system. For example, according to Greenpeace and WWF study, the traditional bank relies on a non-blockchain ledger where directly and indirectly linked to 805 million tons of carbon dioxide emission in 2019. The proof of work components, therefore, view the energy consumed as necessary and acceptable. Others do disagree with this. According to the Cambridge Bitcoin Electricity Consumption Index, the Bitcoin network consumes 87.67 terawatts per hour annual. If Bitcoin were a country, its annual energy consumption would rank between Finland and Kazakhstan as of 2019. So obviously this does sound quite significant, so everyone has a different opinion about it. And this is why I think it was important news to go through this article. There's more to go through within this article, and I do think that if you're interested in this, you should check out this article, which is on the Medium blog of BTCST. Now what we can go through is a price prediction. Now I've got a few evidence for a pullback and I've got evidence for a upward continuation in price. Let's go through the pullback first. Early 2022 bull market approaches. Now the reason why I put this in a pullback category is because before the next proper bull market approach for early 2020, you will see a huge drop in the crypto market. Now the last couple of weeks, it felt like that's what we were on approach of, a bearish market. It felt like a bearish market was definitely up on the horizon. It felt like that's where we were going to go. But obviously there's been a quick sudden turnaround and there's been some stability in the market. But you cannot still forget that we're not too close to Christmas. And as we get closer to Christmas, the price of overall cryptocurrency market will continue to drop because people are spending their money elsewhere. And I think this is the reason why that early approach to a bull market next year will result in a tiny, small little crash this year in prices across most cryptocurrency. Now, on the other hand, we've got some notes for a upside continuation in price. And recently we've been at 45 US dollars. So this is good. So volume is here. There's plenty of volume in the market, especially if you go back in history to around April this year, see that the price was around $80 at some points, $90 at some points. It was extremely high, no doubt about it. But the price has since dropped. It's dropped quite significantly. Now, I don't think that's a bad thing. I still think there's strong volume in the market, especially for BTCST. Now, on the other hand, growth is dropping and the market lead is weak. Why have I put these in an upside continuation category? This must seem strange. It must seem like it should be the other way around. Because once again, I'll go back to my theory. Before Christmas, the market will go down and will lose a lot of volume because people are spending their money elsewhere. And I still think we're in that stage of the market. Yes, there's been some stability. Yes, there's been a bit of turnaround recently in the market. But the year isn't finished yet. We're not close to Christmas yet. We're still a few months away from Christmas. So I still think that a crash in the market is still on the horizon, which is why I think the growth dropping and the market lead being weak is actually going to be a good thing come early next year for a crypto like this with such a low supply. You got to remember the supply is at 11.4 million in circulating supply and 15 million in max supply. Volume is dropping, market lead is weak. It's going to go through a huge turnaround. Can you tell me how bad can it get from here? It's actually going to get better. It's not going to get worse. And this is why I've put these in different categories. This is why my categories do seem a little bit unconventional, because while growth is dropping and market lead being weak is a bad thing, I actually think in the long term, that's a good thing for the market. It's a good thing for a crypto such as BTCST. This is not going to make a lot of sense until the end of the year and possibly to the early next year. But once we get to that stage, it will make plenty more sense. So that's what I wanted to go through. Just a quick price prediction, quick price analysis. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. Subscribe to see more, leave a like, leave a comment. And of course, I will see you in my next video. Thank you for watching.